Well, here is what we're up to today. We ended up getting fourth cutting done here last night. We put the last little bit in an ag bag. We're going to actually show you what that operation kind of looks like after the fact. I showed you guys in the last video or two ago the actual process of putting it in the bag. Jacob actually videoed some of that, and I can throw a little clip in here showing that over again. But we have to switch this chopper over so that we can chop corn with it. I've got the kernel processor here sitting on a pallet. This is a new kernel processor. This is actually a Shear processor. The rolls are different than the previous kernel processor that we used to run. This type of a processor was not available when this chopper was new. So I ended up just getting a standard KP or kernel processor, and we ended up buying this one here last winter, and we're going to go ahead and get that installed. In order to get that installed, I ended up taking the support out for the blower. It's just kind of goes in on a 60-degree angle. That'll aid in getting this kernel processor in there. Now, another thing that we have to put on, we've got a couple of plates to put on underneath the feed roll and in behind it. And that will kind of save on ears of corn popping through and getting out from underneath that bottom roll and falling on the ground. Another thing that we're going to do is we're going to put a new Duraline shear bar in. This is the most expensive shear bar you can get for a John Deere chopper. And the reason why we're going to replace this one, actually we're not going to replace it, we're just going to put that one in for corn, just to make sure that we don't have any little round spots here for... Well, the damn camera kicked off. This damn GoPro camera. So at any rate, we're going to put a new shear bar in this. This shear bar that's in here is a Duraline shear bar as well. And I think I've been through 4 sets of knives on this shear bar. We are not going to put corn knives in this year. These knives are like brand new, and I don't know as if I ever really seen a benefit to those knives, the corn knife itself. So we're going to, at the moment, run without switching the knives over. So we'll pop this shear bar out, get the new one in there, get our corn saver package put on there, and then what we'll have to do when we get all set inside the shop here is we'll have to take the blower pipe off. There's a 4-foot section in there. We'll take that whole thing off, and then we've got a section outside that's like 7 foot long or something like that. And we'll put that in there, and what that does is it allows the truck to be a little further away from the chopper, being that we're running a 25-foot head. It just allows the truck not to have to ride right on top of the head. Some of these drivers end up getting right on top of it anyways, but with the longer pipe on there, we'll be able to get them farther away from the chopper. We cannot use that long pipe for haylage. There's just not enough of a air. It's not open enough on the bottom, and once in a while you'll get haylage that'll drop down a little bit, and it'll collect on the bottom side of the chute, and that'll cause a plug. Now, I showed you guys this in the last video. This is a 7730. It's got, I don't know how many hours on it, maybe 11,000, 10,000, somewhere around there. but we had an axle bearing go on it. So we took this apart. We are going to replace the brakes in it. I explained that in the video I did on this here a little bit ago. These brakes are a little more than half wore, and I figured let's just replace them. We're here. It'll save having to take it apart later on. I haven't made up my mind whether we're going to do that side yet or not. We might just get this back together and then revisit this here this winter. We'll go ahead and jump on the bike here and we'll run down below. We ended up putting a little short, tiny bag down in front of these our lower bunks, and then we put two 500-foot bags on the other side of the road. I showed that process here when we started chopping fourth cutting. So we put fourth cutting in two bags on the other side of the road. We filled the first bag, then the bagger guy, he ended up going somewhere else to bag some, and we ended up putting fourth cutting in this bunk right here on top of the third. He came back, filled the second bag on the other side of the road here, and then after he got that one full yesterday afternoon, he put one in front of these bunks. So this will work out just about right. This bunk here is second, what is it, second cutting, maybe it's third cutting from last year. So it'll allow us to dig out of this bunk first. We've got second cutting in that middle bunk, and then we've got third cutting in that third one with fourth cutting on top. We had some machinery that we had to move the other day, so we ended up using this 9620 to get this offset disc out of the way where it was parked down on this stretch of old road. But we can kind of basically see right from here that we've got two ag bags, one right beside the other on the other side of the road here. So that's two 500-foot bags. It's 500 foot of plastic, and there's roughly, well, there's about 450 foot of actual feed in the bag. You need a little bit of material on each end of the bag to fold it in and under itself to seal it up. So we'll go ahead and get back to work here in the shop, and we'll kind of show you these different steps of this operation as we move along here. I think I'm gonna use the service truck to use the crane on the service truck to put this pipe on there, this blower pipe extension that's sitting on the forks of the forklift. So we'll go ahead and get back at it here. All right, so we have both of the panels in, the rear one here, and then there's one that's goes down in underneath this bottom feed roll. We've got those in there, and what we're doing now is we're going to pop this shear bar out and put a new one on there. We're going to save this one for hay. However, I'm not sure if it's going to be any good. There's a cover that goes on here that holds the center of the shear bar, and I've seen this happen before. I probably should have checked it earlier on, but this bolt was loose. It was just hanging down in there, and this is the bolt right here, and it appears, unless it's just been chattering in there and vibrating, it appears that these threads are no good on the end of this. So we've got another bolt that we're going to put in there We've got one on each side to take out. We'll get that out of there, run a wire wheel across it, and then we'll go ahead and get the new one set in place. Alright, so we've got that old one removed, and I can't remember if when this chopper was new, if the shear bar had a center bolt in it. Maybe the 7780 didn't have one, and then they went back to it. But we ended up having a new anvil put in this here last winter. Kaz put it in there. They replaced all the feed rolls in this. And last summer we actually put a whole new knife drum in this, because some of the welds were letting loose. This anvil has 5 holes in it, so I don't know what this new shear bar is going to have, if it's going to have 5 holes in it or not. But the knives come around this end of it here. We do have a chip out of it right here, and the back side of it has wore where the material kind of forces its way down in underneath the bar. Now these bars have 2 wear sides to them, not 4. The hardened surface is just on the top of the bar. So we'll go ahead and get this new one opened up, and we'll see how many holes are in this one. It looks as though that those threads are good. So we'll be able to use this shear bar again. I have already used this other side, and when I put the knives in last, I think when I took the corn knives out, I left this side against the knives. Just because I thought this side was a little rounded. So we'll get this one open and we'll see if it has 5 holes in it. And just like I thought, this one does have 5 holes in it. I don't believe this one did. Maybe it did, but I don't believe so. No, it's not. So we'll have to go ahead and put 5 bolts in there. So I'd rather see 5 bolts holding that down than just 3. And all we had holding it down was 2. And then this shear bar is actually wore quite a bit underneath the hard surface. You can kind of see how that's coped out. And this new bar, you've got the hardened edge, and that is right flush with the actual hardened part of the shear bar. So this is actually a what they call a stationary knife. So shear bar, stationary knife, what have you, it's the same. It is a knife. So we'll go ahead and get this setting in there and get 5 bolts in it. So, all right. Alright, so now we'll torque these. This one bolt here, I don't remember what side I took it from, but it was bent. So yeah. Oh well. Now we'll torque this. right, so we've got that new shear bar on there. I'm only going to use this shear bar for corn. Then we get done with corn, we'll pop this guy out and put the other one back on there. Save this one for corn next year. And then it looks like I probably should think about changing that shear bar out when we get, or when we go and replace these knives. Because the knife is coming along here, and then it's forcing this material down through on this bar, and it's actually creating a spiral in there, and it's wearing this out. So we did have a bent bolt, and I'm assuming that bolt bent from this one here missing. So with it having 5 in there, we shouldn't be having this one loosen up anymore. So we're gonna get this closed up, and then we're gonna go ahead and very carefully set this kernel processor up into place, hook onto it with this winch, and try to get it in there. This will be the first time that this one, that I've put this one on. It was in there when Kaz did the work to this chopper, and then I took it out in the winter time, and we'll have to go ahead and put it in there. So let's go ahead and button this up. Alright, so this is going pretty well. It's a little bigger than the other one, therefore I thought it was going to go in a lot harder than this, but we're just about there. I've got to bring up the mount that it sets on a little bit. I had that down too far, and then fasten that into place. Up a little bit. I think I'm gonna put the belt on first. Yeah. Alright, so this belt, I gotta kind of figure it out. Oh, I had a diagram drawn here somewhere. Where the hell did I draw it to? Is it on that other panel? Oh, I drew it right here. Oh, crap. At any rate. I don't think it's that hard to figure out. I don't know where the hell I drew that to. Yeah, it's here somewhere. I think I should have wrapped this belt before I put her in there. Yep. Okay. So that's down in there. Got the belt on the KT. Gotta put the belt up on the drive of the chopper. Alright, so we've got it setting in place. We'll have a bolt that goes in there, a bolt that goes in over there. I got the belt on there. There's my diagram right there. And we'll go ahead and yeah, that's it. It's real easy. Just got to put it on the drive pulley. So we'll get this in there, get the bolts in, get it setting in place, and we'll show you what it looks like. All right, we are all set with getting this kernel processor all installed. Now this has an oiler here to oil the bearings on the kernel processor itself. Then there's a wire harness that plugs into the kernel processor, and that runs up inside the cab and hooks to a monitor that is going to be inside the cab. The old processor had it was monitored through the armrest control unit, so this one's a little different. The old one, the other one rather, also greased with the multi-luber. So the bearings on the other kernel processor, that they were lubed from the greaser on the chopper. There's actually a grease line here that you unplug and plug into the kernel processor. This one has oil, and then that oil system there is powered by compressed air that is coming from a compressor that is on the engine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pull this outside, and we're going to take our extension off, our short piece off, and put our extension on, and then this should be just about wrapped up and ready for corn. So let's go ahead and get it outside, get that pipe section off, and get our other section on there. All right, now we are ready to switch out these pipe extensions. We're going to put this longer one in. We've got to take the pipe off the chopper. We'll get it setting down on the ground here. Swap our little flopper off the end of it, get that bolted to the end of this pipe, and then we'll lift this one up and put it on the chopper. I've got all of the bolts taken out and everything is unplugged from the spout, the camera harness and the light harness. So I've got all that unplugged. I've got one bolt left in there. We're going to use the crane on the service truck. This is going to turn this job into a one-man job. We've done this in the past. It usually takes a couple of guys because you need one on the telehandler and one up on top of the machine to guide the pipe into place. But since we have a cordless remote, we can go ahead and use the remote to power the winch right from here. So we'll get this up into place, and we'll get it off of there. Alright, we now have the diverter spout put on the longer extension. We've got the short extension alongside the building here. We'll go ahead and hook up our cable to the choker on the pipe. If I can get the cable, yeah, let's go. Alright, so we'll get this hooked up and get it setting up into place. Alright, this camera is giving me fits here, and I don't think it videoed any of the process of putting the pipe on the chopper. So that is unfortunate, but at any rate, we used the crane and I was able to have one hand on the pipe, and I very carefully just put that into place. So we'll get this crane put away. We've got a few more things to do to the chopper. We've got to get it full of fuel and wash the windows and all that stuff, and then we'll have this job wrapped up. Well, we've got everything ready to go on this chopper, and I've got some corn laying in the head. I'm going to chop that up, run it through the Coster tester, or put it on the Coster tester and see what the moisture of it is. Usually we run the stuff through a little wood chipper, but it's a pain in the ass. It takes two people to do it, and we'll be able to just run it through the chopper, blow the sample on the ground, pick it up, mix it up, and put it on the little heaters there to burn the moisture out of the corn. The chopper has a moisture tester on it, but you need quite a bit of corn to go through. You usually have to chop about 100 yards into the field in order for it to get a good average on what you're actually chopping. So with this kernel processor, it has the oil bath bearings on it, and this has a monitor that's just for the kernel processor. And what this monitor shows is the temperature of all four bearings: the front, left and right side, and the rear, left and right side. We're coming up with a temperature of 82 and 84 degrees. So we'll go ahead and get this head folded out. I can start it like this, but I don't want to wind up them hoses that are on the them guide hoses there. They'll get caught in that's actually probably far enough. So we'll get our pipe up in the air, and we'll get this over into the edge of the doorway there, and we'll blow it out on the ground. Alright, we're situated so we can blow it right on the floor inside the shop. We'll go ahead and engage the cutter head. And there we are. We got a nice sample right there on the floor. So we will go ahead and grab another sample. And run that through there. I've got two Coster testers, so I might as well grab another sample. Okay, so we have a basket. It's on the scale, and that basket weighs 178 grams. So we'll run this up to 278. And that'll make 100 grams of product on there. And that'll give us an idea. There. All right. That's all the coster tester is just got a burner in there. We've got 2 of them. This basket is lighter than that basket. So the field number is field 171, and we weighed 278 grams, and we were 178 empty. So that's what we grossed for weight, and we'll give it an hour and we'll see what we end up with. So that is gonna do it for this one. We'll let you know what the moisture is when we get chopping. So take it easy, folks, and we will catch you at the next one.